here's the difference between Assad and Khamenei. Okay, Assad never fought against the Jews the way Khamenei did. Assad never killed, like was trying to wipe out Israel like the way Khamenei did. So it would be too politically costly for Russia to accept such a big enemy of Israel. You know,
Yeah. Okay.
Assad, it was not as anti-Israeli as Khamenei, so they could have accepted
Also,
him.
a
But
lot
but
of
Russia
Russians are
cares.
pro-Israel.
Yeah,
Russia and Israel are kind of
Russia
friendly to
cares too much about its relationship with Israel to accept such an enemy
What
of
would be
Israel.
ideal is basically killing Khomeini's bodyguards, his security apparatus, and then getting basically the rest of the IRGC members in the sight of the people, and kind of do what they did with Ceausescu in like Romania.
Does
Basically, like give him a
Khamenei,
trial.
does he know that Russia wouldn't take that risk, or would he flee? I mean, it's hard with these Islamists because sometimes they are, like, delusional. The guy who planned
I think
October 7th thought that they would get more people to support them, and that didn't happen, so
I think Khamenei is going through a Hitler phase right now. When Hitler was in his bunker, Hitler, for example, was thinking of
yes.
imaginary forces and thinking that they're going to win this. I think he's going through that phase. I think he's in denial. I think he
Okay.
still thinks that he doesn't think he's going to lose this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm done.
I think Ahmed said in the chat that he might go to Turkmenistan or Armenia. Turkmenistan is America's ally. I don't think most people understand, but even though Turkmenistan is a dictatorship, they have a U.S. forces stationed in Turkmenistan as well.
Okay. But Michael, it's your turn. So if you wait, did I? Oh, we finished
Yeah,
your
yeah.
turn,
You already
right?
gave. Yeah, you already
Okay.
gave me my turn.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll
Did
have the
Gary
next person go
leave?
on.
Gary, I think, left. Didn't he? It was his turn. Okay, it was Gary's turn, but he left. So is Dajjal.
Yeah, I think the thing with Khamenei is I really wish Trump had just let the Israelis take him out when they had the chance. I still can't believe that he called it off, didn't let him do it. I've been pissed about that ever since. I know you have too, Armin. But yeah, I was going to say, as far as what was the Shah's Secret Service again, Armin? What were they called?
His intelligence agency, SAVAK.
SAVAK, yeah. Yeah, that's it. One of the guys in here, I forget his name, but he was talking. He was talking about his experience in Iran and how he thinks how a lot of people in Iran are still scared of SAVAK, or for some reason, because of how brutal they were supposedly. The way I see it, they weren't brutal enough. That was the problem, and the Shah probably held him back too much, because all the shit that people talk about with the Shah being a tyrant and everything. The thing is, he was actually way too soft. These people, these
kind. I use the word kind, not soft. It's just his kind. He was too kind.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, he was too kind, way too kind. And they told him that. They warned him, and he didn't listen because the enemies that he was facing were trying to destroy him, and they did it in the end. He should have listened to him. They weren't. He wasn't nearly brutal enough. The jihadists and communists weren't going to stop. They had to be dealt with. So that's the problem. They weren't nearly brutal enough. They should have destroyed them all. And I think now a lot of Iranians, you said it yourself, a lot of Iranians are probably pro SAVAK. What you said, like a lot of them want to join SAVAK. I bet that's true. I know I would, because you're gonna have some insurrectionists. Even if you get the king back in power, you're gonna have some insurrectionists who are going to try to take him out and cause mayhem. And you're gonna have to get his hands dirty with some of these people. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think the same Iranians who are now working for Mossad, they could use their experience then to join SAVAK once the regime.
Yes, exactly. You're going to have problems with groups like the MEK and the people who support them. They're going to be trying to stir shit, and I think you're going to have a lot of Iranians who are going to be very eager to deal with those people. I don't think they're going to be having a good time, to say the least. And I hope they don't. I don't take them out, because you got to take them out.
Also, by the way, also SAVAK was trained by Mossad. If in case you guys didn't know that.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah,
Which also shows how close Iran and Israel were before the revolution. That our
absolutely,
intelligence agency.
absolutely. As far as intervention goes, I think the best thing that could be done is when it comes down to America and Israel intervening, it would be best for Israel to provide most of the assistance because they're closer, and their interests are more directly aligned than ours, like you said, than America's. And I think there would be a lot less friction when it comes to deciding who gets to run Iran at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something to think about.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right, let's go to Elad, BT, and Joseph. Sorry, guys. I know you've been waiting.
So while I was waiting, I actually got some reports that there is new troubles with the internet in many regions in Iran, and also power out in large sections of North Iraq. No one knows if it's related. I wanted to ask if you've seen Goldie just dropped the interview she had with Glenn Beck, and I think she's like, Goldie's just awesome. I mean, she just keeps on being perfect every moment, and I constantly think like, oh, no wonder why the regime fears the Irani women so much, because if like Goldie is like an example, I mean, my
Sorry,
God.
Goldie went on Glenn Beck?
Yes, Goldie
That's
went on Glenn
incredible.
Beck.
He has a
I
huge
know.
conservative
She
audience.
just dropped it on
Huge.
her channel. She
Oh,
just
that's
dropped
so
it on her channel. And so, and I wanted to say, like, I don't think we say it enough. Like, you Iranis in the diaspora have been like such a big light for us. I mean, you stand with us. You expanded what Zionism means. I mean, it's just amazing. I think of like the history of our peoples and how it's like returning right now. It's just wonderful. Thank you for everything.
No, well, thank you guys. You guys have been. We owe you more than you owe us.
One thing I wanted to
So,
say, Armin, how is it
yes, go
true
ahead.
that Khamenei would strike Israel at this point? Because supposedly the news is like, oh, Khamenei is threatened to strike Israel if they keep inciting the protests or whatever that's happening in Iran.
Well, okay, I'll answer quick because BT has been waiting
Yeah.
for a long time. I do think that they should, if they wanted to do that, they should have done this earlier before the protest started, because right now that would be the best excuse for Israel to come and basically fuck them up. Because
It'd be
right
the end
now,
of
if
the
they
regime.
no, because right now it's like is going to be messing with the revolution, because they don't want this revolution to be an Israeli revolution. They want it to be an Iranian revolution. But if the Islamic Republic attacks Israel, then Israel would have no choice but to get involved, and nobody could, the regime wouldn't have the propaganda of, oh my god, the revolution was going on well until Israel got involved, will go out the window, because, well, you guys made Israel get involved. It's too obvious now. Right in the middle of the protest, if they do that, I think, I don't know how to explain it, but if they wanted to do that, they should have done it. They should have seen the protest coming, and they should have attacked Israel so that Israel attacks them, so that they could get involved with the war to stop the protest from happening before it got here. Now that the protest has started, I think it's too late for them to use that tactic. And if they do that, it's going to be, it's not like propaganda wise, it's not going to work out for them anyway. Well, it would, the best time to have done it would have been before the protest, so that they could have avoided the protest from happening by just being in constant war, in my opinion. Somebody else raised their hand. Who was it? Raise your hand again, please, because I was talking and I didn't see. Okay, it's BT. Sorry, BT, you've been waiting for a long time. Okay.
That's okay. So,
BT.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. You were talking earlier about the reformists And surely the Mossad, and to whatever extent the USA knows about this. Do you think that that had anything to do with why they didn't take Khamenei out in the 12-day war? To allow, because of that fact, because of knowing that, how big of a piece do you think that was, if at all?
So the thing is that during the 12-day war, the reformers were not as prepared as they are right now to have the to replace Khamenei, right? So because of the 12-day war, the reformers have been preparing for the eventual future attack, right?
Mhm.
Because of the power vacuum that Israel created during the 12-day war, the reformers have had a really good time in the past couple of months, just showing themselves as the only alternative if Khamenei is removed. Because when Israel came and took out all of the heads of IRGC, the heads of IRGC are not just involved with military. These are also politicians, also people with a lot of economic control, political control, and military control. Each one of the heads of IRGC that Israel took out during the 12-day war was its own army. Like this was a whole, like think about it as a whole party and a bank and a military behind each one of these people. They were connected to so many different institutions. They had their claws in so many different things, right? A lot of people don't understand how fundamentally, like how the entire core of the Islamic Republic was removed by killing all those people. The power vacuum left in place was, it's really hard to overstate how big of a deal that was and the power vacuum that it left. And because there was such a power vacuum, all the people who were left in the Islamic Republic were rushing in to fill in those gaps. And many people who supported Khamenei reported to Khamenei, all the banking connections, all the financial connections, all the so many, like all the links in these chains were all cut. And the people who were linking them again together, like you don't know if you could trust them, you don't know who they're aligned. Like there's so many backstabbing, so many people are trying to. It's chaotic. It was chaotic, and the reformers did a really good job in taking advantage of this power vacuum and making themselves more, like, because a lot of people thought that the reformers were over and done with once Raisi was elected as president, but they have had a major comeback. Okay, first with the election of Pezeshkian, and second with this whole removal of, because a lot of their obstacles were removed during the 12-day war. A lot of the people who were basically standing in front of them were removed, right? So if you had taken Khamenei during the 12-day war, you wouldn't have seen such a reformist takeover of the entire system, because they weren't ready, in my opinion, at least, right? But now they're ready. So now they have built an entire infrastructure, and they have all the connections, and they have their comeback, and they're ready for like they are expecting Khamenei to be killed, right? So imagine for, like, how long has it been since the 12-day war? But imagine all that time thinking like, oh, next time they're going to take out Khamenei, so let's just prepare propaganda wise, networking wise, making the right connections with the remaining people in the IRGC wise. Okay, so you are now ready for it. You are ready for Khamenei to be taken out. But back then, I think if you taken out all the IRGC heads and some politicians and all the heads of the three branches of the government and Khamenei, I don't know if back then the regime would have been able to survive that.
So
Right
America
now is
still
right.
doesn't understand the Middle East power vacuum, is what we're hearing.
No, I think they understand it. It's just that they are looking for something different than Israel. Like they're not interested. They're not that eager to have like a complete regime change. They're like, what's in it for us? So they might like, Israel is looking for survival. Like for Israel, this is an existential situation. Like these are our main enemies who want to wipe us out, right?
So
But
that
for
means
United
there's a
States,
breaking point between what the obviously what the goals of the United States and the goals of Israel night and day. So there's a breaking point in between that relationship, and we'll see how long this takes and when we get there and what that looks like.
Well, I mean, it's never going to break because even if they are not mutually aligned completely, Israel is still very beneficial to the United States, and United States is necessary for Israel. So,
In not breaking in that, not to that extent, with their goals and this war right now.
oh yeah,
Israel's stopping
yes,
point is very different than what the United States, and that's
yes,
what that's going to
thi-
come down to is Bibi being willing to do things when Daddy Trump says no.
yes. But and it's not just Bibi, also Naftali Bennett. I think they all agree upon this because like this is not a disagreement between different political parties in Israel. They cannot allow Islamic Republic to survive. Like I think they're all in agreement in
Yes,
this.
absolutely.
Yeah, and because Islamic Republic surviving is not going to be the same as the Islamic Republic as before. It's going to be a nuclear Islamic Republic, and Israel cannot accept that in any way. So
Yeah.
that's why it has to go. This is why we Iranians find ourselves so aligned with in goals with Israelis. All right. So Joseph. By the way, guys, I have to go. So is Joseph,
Father.
Dejal, and Tom? Yeah. So it's Joseph, Dejal, and Tom. And after that, you could speak just like, do you guys want somebody, you guys want Samantha to moderate, or do you want to just speak organically after that?
Samantha to moderate, I would say if it's okay with her.
Okay. Samantha, are
Doesn't
you
matter
okay
to
with
me.
moderating? Yeah. Samantha, are you okay with modding after I go? Okay, she nodded. Okay, so Joseph, you go ahead and speak. And guys, I need to go. And this was really productive. I think that was a really good conversation. So I appreciate all of you.
Can I have
And
the
Amazrael,
correct
hi.
Bye,
Wait,
Arvid,
okay.
you're doing a great job.
Have a good
Oh,
evening.
I will put the list in the chat. Okay. Bye, guys.